This episode is sponsored by 1 Minute Calm. Breathe, live, and love the moment that you're in. Walk and Talk with Avalon podcast. Mindful motivation, everyday inspiration.
I want to welcome you to another episode of Health, Wealth, and Happiness. I'm Christina, creator and founder of ZMoth Entertainment. Enjoy the episode.
Welcome to another episode of Health, Wealth, and Happiness. I'm Christina. I'd like to welcome our next guest. She is a career transformation coach. She helps mid-career professionals who are looking to get out of the daily grind and into their deeper purpose. She has the tools of mindfulness and yoga. She's an adventurer that has traveled the world. Let's welcome our next guest, Ruth. Hello, Ruth. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Christina. Thank you so much for having me. Such a pleasure to be here.
Tell me a little bit about what you do in your daily life.
Yeah, so as you mentioned, I'm a career transformation coach. So I coach clients on going within and discovering what it is that they're here to do, what impact they want to make in the world, and how to craft that and create that and design that into reality so that they can be impacting the world in the way that they truly desire. Yeah, so we look at the dreams, the fears, the limitations, how to move beyond them by going through them so that the why is always alive in the heart.
So Ruth's health word is self-love. Oh, tell us more about self-love. And you've gone through something recently that I think you're going to share with us.
Yes, I am. That was really the starting point for the self-love journey. So about 8 months ago, I had this mysterious spot on my side that continued to grow into a rash that covered most of my torso. And I was diagnosed with Lyme's disease, which, if you're not familiar with that, we're taught that it comes from tick bites and it can affect our body. We can be in pain, dizziness. There can be mental issues. And so when I got the diagnosis, I was really unsure how to move forward. I knew that from the past few years, I've been living a sustainable, healthy life, that I wanted to focus on self-healing and finding more natural ways to look at this disease. So I wasn't interested in antibiotics at the time. And I built this team that supported me in my healing. And I was taking the natural remedies, I was doing the practices for months and months, and I was on this roller coaster ride. So it didn't get better that quickly. And I felt like I was missing a piece in my healing journey. And about halfway through, I was like, okay, am I really doing the right thing? Should I just take the antibiotics and be done with it? My loved ones are like questioning me. I'm getting kind of pressure, and I'm actually afraid that I'm going to live this life forever where I'm constantly in pain. My body doesn't move the same way, and it's affecting my ability to work. I got gifted a book by Louise Hay, which is You Can Heal Your Life. And it was so transformative because the core of healing for her is loving ourselves and accepting ourselves. And through the love, we are our best expression of ourself, which is great health, lots of energy. And that gave me the portal to go inwards, to notice what like little whispers of fear were still there, what little whispers of you're not good enough, nobody likes you, you're a scam, you're going to feel sick forever. And to really create a space to listen to those parts and to love them through that, to love them through the healing. That was the missing piece in my healing journey. And today I am, as they call it, in remission, using just self-love and natural remedies to heal. And I've never felt more energized, more healthy, and more balanced than today.
That is so neat. I mean, you're really digging deep within yourself and being that self-aware and pulling it out. I mean, especially when it's something as serious as, Lyme's disease and what I've had people that I know go through it as well. What kind of daily practices do you put in place now for your self-love?
Yeah, I have self-gratitude. And so I spend the morning and sometimes the evening just acknowledging and honoring myself for who I am. And I'll say literal words of, I love you. I love the actions that you take. I love the dreams that you have. I even love the fears that you have, the limitations and soaking that up. I also am really a big fan of touch. So I will embrace myself and hold myself lovingly because for so long, I've realized that I was seeking love outside of myself, wanting that from a partner, from friends, to be held, to hear certain words. And I realized I was always just chasing things and creating these expectations and pressures with my relationship when I could give that all to myself and fill my own cup.
What's interesting because you live in Canada, I'm here in the US, and these cultures don't really have a lot of that touch. We're so separated from each other in the daily life. I mean, even children, and this is one of my things, is we're putting them in a stroller versus holding them in a baby carrier. They're trying to get them in their own rooms as quickly as possible. So we're being taught these things from a young age to kind of disengage from that touch. And, being able to find it within ourselves is, I mean, amazing and beautiful because we're digging so much deeper. Yes, we can get that touch from someone else, but within yourself, I find fascinating. What kind of advice do you have for others who are struggling with their own self-love and their own pursuit of that kind of health?
That's a great question. I think love is what we all truly desire and what we seek in the different ways and what we do, what we say, some of our aspiration and goals. And what I've seen in my own life is the quickest way to achieve these things is through loving ourselves. It's one of the most powerful and sustainable fuels that helps us to move forward towards the things that we really want. So my advice is to give it a try and to start small with, oh, what do you love about yourself? What characteristics, what skills, creativity, and see and notice how you feel.
Have you ever worked with a client that really struggled with finding that in themselves?
This comes up often. Yeah. And it usually comes in the form of I'm not worthy and I'm not good enough. And so, what I invite them to do is to create affirmations or mantras showing and reminding themselves on a daily basis that I am worthy, I am good enough, I accept myself exactly as I am. And the results are so transformative. They're like, they light up and they're like, wow, this is a whole new world, like a whole new life that they've been given to move forward with this self-love.
I love it. So to our listeners and to our viewers, rewind that and just listen to Ruth's soothing voice telling you that and guiding you along the way. So we're moving on to wealth, and the calming voice is coming out of me now too after speaking with Ruth.
I love it. I'm like, ooh, yes.
And so wealth, your word is mindset. I know there's a lot wrapped into that, but I'll have you say it in your words, what it means to you.
Wealth for me is more of a mindset than accumulating physical goods. And I can share a story of when I was working in accounting and I had disposable income to buy clothes, bags, go clubbing, go out to restaurants and wine and dine myself. And even though there was this material abundance that I had, I never felt wealthy. I always felt like, oh, like this sense of lack. I need more. And this chasing of things, like there's this really fleeting temporary happiness when I did get something, but it would soon wear away. When I started my coaching business, and it's only been 1 or 2 years, so it's still in its infancy and growing, I really had to dig deep into the mindset of wealth because I was not financially sustainable at the time. And I was confused because I felt like I was doing all the right things. I was working with a business coach. Had a website. I did the promotion. I did the classes. I wrote the emails, and yet nothing was coming in. And it was really frustrating and confusing. And I was invited to look inwards on where in my mind I was actually stopping myself from success and from the wealth that I really wanted. And it was through my limiting beliefs. I had to look at where my beliefs came from, which they came from childhood. We weren't well off. We struggled. And I had all these money stories. Money is hard to get. I'm going to be working myself into the ground. People are only with you for your money. And I took that with me into my business. And when I changed my money stories, my mindset, and saw wealth, money, material goods as tools to help others, to serve, to contribute, things flowed in a lot easier.
So when in your life did you realize you went from one career to a completely different career in your business? Did you realize that it was time for this mindset shift?
When I was working as an employee, the steady paycheck was there. So I always knew what to expect. I could plan and organize. And so that was never on my radar or on my mind. And when I became self-employed, that whole thing changed. There wasn't the stability and the security. And for myself, and I know for many, it is scary. And after I tried to do the things, I recognized that there's something that I was missing underneath, the missing puzzle piece, which was the mindset for me.
So there's a lot of people who in the last few years have gone into different careers, kind of finding what their true self is in many senses. I've been doing this grind, but what am I trying to achieve now? What kind of advice would you have for somebody who is in that struggle of going, yes, I had the steady paycheck. I knew things were coming in, and here we are in this free float, and I'm not sure where to begin and what's going to happen next.
That's such a juicy place. I love that place. Like they're on the edge and they're looking and they're like about to make the jump. And it's such a delicious part of change and transformation. What I often tell my clients and what I share with people who are in this exact situation is that there's no certainty to life. There's no certainty that we're going to wake up tomorrow, that we're going to have a job in a year, that our house is still standing, and to trust the fire within. And sometimes the fire or the spark within speaks to us in whispers. And it's sort of like this calling or this pull. And when we are quiet enough to really listen to it, it is our North Star, our guiding compass. And when we really allow that to lead the way, things all fall into place. It's not that challenges or problems or fears won't arise, but that this yearning and this drive is so much larger and louder than any fear, and it will allow you to move forward.
And now that you're on this new journey, even it's a few years in, what are your aspirations and goals? Where would you like to go next?
Yeah. That's a great question. What's coming up for me, besides really opening to receiving the abundance of life, because it's everywhere. And I love this sort of like unexpected magic that comes when we come from a place of serving others, of wanting to help people. So I want, my goal and aspiration is like, how much can I meet those growth edges? Can I face those fears? Can I do those practices that I know help me to progress? And what is going to be on the other side? Because that really lights me up of who will I become as I move forward? Because I know that I'm progressing and growing each and every day. And it's just like delightful. I also would love to travel. I love hearing your stories of your travel and just like the beautiful ways in which you soak up the environment. You get to share that with your loved ones. And I'd love to continue seeing the beauty of different cultures, nature, try different foods, and speak and learn in different places. So those are the two aspirations and goals.
So we'll see pictures of us riding off into the sunset to the next place together. Happiness, sitting here in Dr. Seuss world and Universal and enjoying the circus and all the rides here. And you can see the carousel going up and down. Actually, this should probably be on Wealth, because hey, these parks are not cheap, let me just tell you. But they have all the fun that you can imagine, all the fun that you could see, all the things that you can do, and all the places that you can go. Oh, it's like I'm an author or something like that. Oh, this is Sylvia. I hope you enjoy in your health, wealth, and happiness. And Ruth's happiness word is purpose. Another powerful word. So Ruth, tell us about your purpose and happiness.
It is a powerful word. Purpose. Purpose is, I believe, the reason why we're all really here. And we each have a purpose, whether it's to serve others, contribute, teach, and lead. And what I've noticed in my own life is gravitating towards personal pleasure, even though they're amazing and some of the best experience of life is through just being in a state of enjoyment. I find that fulfilling our purpose is what brings a deeper happiness.
Ooh, that in itself is a very, very deep statement. When do you think that you really started to realize that purpose was your happiness?
Mhm. Yeah. It's funny because there's this one memory. I was in my early teens, ingrained in my head, and it was such a small moment, but it had such a profound impact on me. I was with my friend Leo, and I think we were going into the car, going somewhere, and a neighbor asked us if we could help her move some furniture. She was an elderly lady, and it was a big piece of furniture. And we're like, oh, yeah, for sure. We'll move it into the car. And after that, I felt such a joy and happiness that was like so pure from just simply helping someone. And that taste was like, I knew that there was something so special in helping people. And when I reflect back on before becoming more intentional with my career and teaching yoga and meditation, that there was always this call and desire to help my friends. I was that person where secrets were told to, where, tears were cried, advice was given, questions were given or asked. And so now looking back, I see how I've come into this place.
And that's interesting too, as a teenager, because teenagers often aren't in that place of giving. To know that that's innately who you are and to sense it from such a young age is amazing. So, in your daily life, how do you balance out your happiness when things get hectic, when things get going in a way that you're like, whoa, this is pulling me away from where I need to be in my space and my calm? What do you do?
Yeah, I take that much needed break and step back, and I will take a few deep breaths, take a moment to be mindful through meditation, connecting in with the feelings that are arising, creating space, seeing if there is a need that's arising, a need for rest, for food, to create more space in the agenda so that the overwhelm is not there. I also find it really powerful to be in movement. I love dance and just like getting that energy going, because sometimes just having enough energy um is enough to continue the work instead of coming from a place of like, oh, like I have to do it perfectly or this is such a drag. So it just having a little dance party can shift the mood entirely. Yeah, and yeah,
Turn
yeah,
it
you
on and
too?
just,
Yeah.
do it. And like, well, I'm a ballroom dancer as well. So, I mean, just even turning the music on and, feeling the rhythm, it's so much fun. So much.
Yeah, you get it.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
can totally change the mood in that moment.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah. And I like to organize my day so that there is balance because I can get overwhelmed easily or even excited and want to like work forever. And what I've started to do is create 1 hour timers. So I'll work for an hour and then I'll take a 5 to 10 minute break, do a dance party, meditate, take a mindful breather outside. So that's really helped me to stay consistent before so that I normally am taking care of myself. So overwhelm usually doesn't happen.
So,
Yeah.
nurture or nature, is there anybody in your family who does some of these same practices that you may have learned from, or do you have somebody who was somebody you looked to find some of these things?
Yeah, absolutely. No, my family, I love my family deeply. but they're at a place that is kind of like still anxious, and there's a lot of negativity, a lot of pain and struggle and suffering. And I think because of that, as much as my family loves me, I grew up in that environment, which inspired me to find these tools. My inspirations for this sort of mindfulness meditative practice is Eckhart Tolle. Reading his book, The Power of Now, has been so transformative in how to be present with life in each moment, as well as how to let go of like the past and the grip that it has, or fears of the future. And yeah, I've been in like coaching groups and kind of master classes where we get to share, and other entrepreneurs and business people and people who really want to grow and make an impact. And we dive deeply in like year-long, 6-month-long programs of what tools and practices can we use to keep the momentum flowing, to keep us on target and on goal, on in sync with the goals that we want to realize. So I get to learn from people who are successful, who've done it before, and who want to distill that knowledge.
When someone comes into one of your classes, whether it's mindfulness or yoga, if you had to come or they had to come away with one thought from this is something that I learned from Ruth, what would you hope that that thought would be?
Oh, wow. I love that question. Thank you, Christina. The one thought is everything I need is within me already.
That's gorgeous. I see the sparkles just emanating. If you could give the gift of health, wealth, or happiness, which one would you give and why?
Hmm. This is a great question. They're all key pillars to living a beautiful life. I would say happiness. I would give happiness if I had to choose between the three. And the reason is happiness is a lens or a state of being we get to experience life through. And whether or not we have wealth, we can still enjoy the moment through our happiness. Same with health. Whether or not we have our health, we can still enjoy and be content in the moment. So I think yeah, I think that's really powerful.
We have a question from our previous guest.
What do you do as an accomplished professional female to inspire other women looking to elevate themselves?
I love this question. What's coming up right now is being vulnerable about my journey. As much as I love to share tools and practices and mindset shifts that have been really transformative in my life, I think what touches people the most is being a human, letting people know I'm in the arena with you as a human. I have fears, challenges, limiting beliefs, and if I can do it, you can too. So I'm really open about when I fall down, when I don't feel good enough, and what steps I'm taking to move forward. And my business coach said this, which she's also an inspiring woman who supports other inspiring women. If you never quit, you'll never fail. And I absolutely love that. And so, yeah, I think being a human is how I inspire women.
So I want to thank you, Ruth, for joining this episode today. You have been an amazing guest, and I hope we get to see more of that bright smile.
Thank you, Christina, for having me. Such a joy.
We'll see you again next time.